If you're over 50, you may be noticing that your posture is starting to change. Maybe your shoulders are starting to round or your head is creeping forward. You're starting to notice a lot more stiffness in your upper back. If these things are happening, you are not alone. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, especially across the spinal column that keeps us upright. But the good news is that posture is changeable with the right kind of training. In this video, I'm going to show you one simple but powerful exercise that you can do regularly that will help you to keep you upright, dramatically improving your posture, reducing your neck and back stiffness, and also helping you to feel confident, strong, and upright. Welcome to the Joint Longevity Lab by Fitness Integrated Science. I'm Lauren Irk, and this video I'm going to talk with you a little bit about how to improve your posture with one exercise that I often give my clients that dramatically improves posture, standing upright, and reduces neck and back pain. Now, if you just stand with me as you're watching this video, allow gravity, which is that force that comes across you, just to collapse over your body. And I want you to do this because it's very important that you understand why this is happening. What do you notice? You notice already that if I'm looking from the ground up, my knees start to bend, my hips start to flex, my pelvis starts to tuck under, my lumbar curve starts to flatten. That lets my torso kind of start coming forward, which causes my shoulders to round, and then my head starts to come forward. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen people that this has happened to over a period of years and it has gotten very severe. So let's think about how we're going to change these things. So we could say, okay, my head's coming forward, let's just lift the head up, which is what a lot of people do. You can see that lifting the head, well, I can see now, but it is putting a lot of stress on the back of the neck. So go ahead and try that and see what that feels like. Now, let's release that. That didn't work. Let's just try pulling our shoulders back, which is another thing that people say. Okay, I'm going to pull my shoulders back. Well, my head is now really stretching in front of my body. I didn't fix my posture. My lower back is now feeling more stress, but more importantly, all I'm feeling is a lot of strain on the front of the shoulder. So typically, you may notice I can do this for a while, but after a while, I'm going to end up here again, okay? What about the people say bend backwards? Well, bending backwards when you're rounded like this is not comfortable. So many people start to push the hips forward, which jams up that lower back, and then maybe even putting your hands here. My shoulders are still rounded, my head is still in front of my body, and now I feel very insecure about hurting my neck when I come back. All I'm really feeling is a jamming here. And lastly, what people may tend to do say is straighten your knees and tighten your glutes. Well, tightening my glutes is going to further jam up my lower back and actually exacerbate this problem. So I really want you to try all of those four things and see that those things really don't work. So what does work? Let's go over one simple exercise that I think will fix all of these things. First thing I want you to do, I want you to come down to the ground. If you're thinking, I'm out, I can't come to the ground, that's okay. You can do this lying on top of your bed or even a massage table. So I'm just going to come down to the floor and bring my feet about hip distance apart. Now I want you to come down onto your back. Now what do you notice when you're coming down onto your back? What if you notice this, where your neck is way up here and your shoulders are way up off the floor? This may be because your upper back is becoming more what's called kyphotic. Now, the thoracic spine naturally rounds, which is a kyphotic curve. But if it starts to exaggerate, then the lumbar curve will compensate by flattening out. When we lay on our backs, our head is going to be way back here because it can't reach the floor. Too much of our back is taking up the floor. So what I want you to do, if that's you, put a pillow or a couple of blankets under your head to bring the head even with your shoulders. Once you have that, I want you to address those four components that I talked about. Number one, head position. Whatever your head is pressing into right now, I want you to notice that your jaw is going to be perpendicular to the floor. Your nose and your chin is pointing straight up. So this is going to be neutral. And I also want you to notice some space in your neck where your shoulders are dropping out of it. Press the back of your head right along the ridge of your skull into the ground. Now that alone is a great exercise, but this is part of what this exercise is going to need. Keeping that chin lifted, you should already be feeling muscles engaging across the back of your neck. Now, once you have that, I want you to work on taking your shoulders and retracting them. Now, when you retract your shoulders, what you may notice is that you do feel a certain amount of pull across the front of the shoulders, but now the shoulders have something to move against. The floor is there. So with that feedback, we can start to perform scapular retraction, working into the middle traps, the rhomboids, even the lats as we draw them down. And this starts to make us feel more stable. This is actually the very thing that's going to reduce the upper back tension that we commonly notice with poor posture. So let's see if we can do this together. Head pushing back and shoulders pressing into the floor. Now what you should notice as your shoulders come back, I'm going to feel more strain here unless I compound this with my back, my spinal extensors. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to really focus on lifting your breastbone. Now that is called thoracic extension. We're trying to move the middle of the back away from the ground. The ground is an awesome tool to use because it gives you feedback. The more you can squeeze your shoulder blades together and then lift your back away from the floor, the better you're going to feel. Now, to further engage these muscles, which attach from the back of your neck all the way down to your tailbone, we're going to need to contract the glutes. How are we going to do that from this position? So from there, I want you to press your feet into the ground and then start to lift your hips off the floor. Now, this is very different than contracting your glutes from standing. So two things are happening. Number one, we are in spinal extension all the way down. We are working the muscles that attach along the vertebra and the rib cage, down the spinal column from the neck to the coccyx in the tailbone. Number two, we're performing hip extension. We're engaging the glutes, which have a job of fighting gravity as we age. So many people call this the part of the posterior chain. I don't know that I would call it a chain, but there's certainly muscles that are very related. So as we press into the head, we squeeze the shoulders back, we keep that sternum lifted, there's space between the shoulders, we start to feel muscles engaging on either side of the spine, and we are contracting the glutes. Now if this starts to jam up your back, I want you to lower your hips down a little bit. Now we want to make sure that both sides are working equally. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to shift my weight over to my left foot a little bit. Now what you should notice when you do that and shift your weight over there is that you're feeling more engagement in this glute across the spine and in that shoulder. What do you notice about your head and neck position? Does that change? Now let's reverse it and let's shift a little more of our weight into the right foot. And as we do that, we feel the right glute traveling diagonally through the spine into the opposite left shoulder. Now this is important information for you to have in this exercise because this is how you're going to eliminate muscle weakness. So let's just do that a couple of times, shifting to the left foot and right shoulder, and then shifting into the right foot and left shoulder. And just go back and forth a couple of times with this until eventually you start to feel pretty confident. So let's just say that I was putting that left foot, right shoulder aspect into the ground is much harder. I might be able to start elevating one foot off the floor. Now, if you can do this without dropping your hip, you know that your core is getting stronger. And it is these spinal muscles that's going to keep us upright. Now, I do a lot of these things on my platform, Fitness Integrated Science TV. We do things with thigh bands and weights and all kinds of Pilates and yoga modalities. But this is a prime muscle that I use, or exercise that I use quite a bit through those routines on FIS TV. As you rotate back and forth now, you may notice that the two sides are becoming more and more even. And eventually, I might be able to lift that foot a little bit higher off the ground, trying to maintain my base position, which is the glute bridge. And then eventually, I can even start moving my leg out to the side a little bit, noticing if I'm able to keep my center and really focus on maintaining my core strength. Maybe even going more towards a long lever, which puts even more strain on the opposing glute. And then from there again with that long lever, I can work on moving my leg out to the side to really challenge these spinal muscles, particularly those that perform rotation and lateral flexion. Now, doing this exercise over a period of time consistently, 2 to 3 days a week with anywhere from 8 to 15 reps at a time, is absolutely going to improve your posture. And if you've been doing that, I'd love to know in the comments if you've noticed just that. Now, if you like this video and it speaks to you, please remember to subscribe to this channel so that we can get it out through the algorithms. Give me a thumbs up and share it with anyone that you know that I can help. And lastly, don't forget to check out Fitness Integrated Science TV, where I can support you with many different exercise modalities to strengthen the very muscles that you need to be upright and confident as you age. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.